Can Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. This is Mixtape Monday, where you guys set the pace. You tell me what you want to hear, and it's usually in the messages from the last week's video, but sometimes it's from other videos. So hope you guys are doing great. I am coming off the flu, so if you are flu prone, take precautions, because this was hard and heavy for one day. I had 103 fever on Friday. Actually, it was 103.5. It was pretty intense. And I actually took my body temperature from, like, we have one of those infrared ones, and I took my body temperature. It was 107. I actually sent it out to Debbie Shelley. She's like, oh my God. Angus said, shouldn't you be in the hospital? And I was like, nah, it's just my body. My head's okay. But I was delirious. I had some amazing fever dreams. And I read a few books, or I actually, I didn't finish a few books, but I started a few books. So I am, very merrily reading along. At any given time, just so you guys know, I'm reading like anywhere between like 3 and 10 books. I'm never reading one book. And they're either in digital or Audible or physical format. So I'm sorry, I'm just fluffing my bangs a little bit. I just took my heating pad off. My back did not hurt the whole time I was sick, probably because I was taking so much cold medicine, but now I feel better and my back hurts again. So I'm back to physical therapy. I think tomorrow I'm going to see how I feel when I wake up in the morning when my alarm goes off at 5. I may take another day off from physical therapy, but I'm really feeling it. So, but nonetheless, here we are for Mixtape Monday. Thank you so much for everybody who's joined my community and has a membership. We've got fun little emojis. We've got primary you get top seating for comments. So I get to see your comments first. We're also going to have members only lives and videos and things like that. So we'll have some fun with it. I may even make this video. I may launch this video as members only. Maybe next week. So if you guys want to join up, you can do that. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. My subscribership is booming. Things are happening. I am getting back to physically feeling normal, and I'm starting to not have this cold anymore. Gregopedia had this too, so I'm just waiting for the kids to get it. So Angus is going through the next last week, and this week is band camp. So it is going to be a little crazy for him to do that. But we're going to be using the mystical medleys today because I thought that would be fun. And I may start and stop the video because I am still struggling. Also, I did a multi-part video on the JFK Donald Trump new marriage. So you may want to go check that out. We talk about a lot of different stuff there. So, but let's kick it off. Guys. And I'm bringing up the card view. First question up, and these are in random order. It would be interesting to see what the VP of Colombia thought of Meghan Markle after her trip. So let's see what the vice president, and I did title her in my last video. I thought she was the prime minister. I apologize. Got that wrong. Must have been the cold coming on. No, I'm kidding. What does the VP think of Meghan Markle after her trip? Ace of Pentacles. She feels like she's going to get some money out of the disappointment of this all. Under the surface, King of Wands. Behind her is the Queen of Cups. Up top is the Four of Wands. She's thinking about Colombia. And in the future, she won't do this again. We're not going to do this again. This is very interesting, though. The Ace of Pentacles, and it's bolstered by the disappointment of the trip. Because this tells me that maybe she is going to ask for some correction of fundage. She may actually say, hey, I'm sending you an invoice for your security. 3,000 police and military. Do you know how many like checkpoints that is? I know a little bit about security and about policing and how you do that kind of thing. Um that's a lot of security. Like I've been to tremendous shows in Los Angeles with multiple celebrities, and that's a lot of policing. That's a lot of police to have. So, or military, and they had a biohazard truck. Like, God, the chutzpah. I can't even think of another word. I got to do some lip gloss, guys. Dehydrated. I'm still drinking tea. Drank so many hot toddies yesterday. I had two. It wasn't so many. I had two, but they were delicious. They were wonderful hot toddies. So this VP will not do this again. Under the surface, King of Wands matching this King of Pentacles. I have a feeling she's going to want to recoup some of that money. I whether her hand is forced, I think she's going to want to recoup some of that money. How does she feel right now? 10 of Wands, hoodwinked. It was not, they were sold something that they didn't get. How are others seeing her? As wasteful of money. I think she's going to be tasked with getting that money back. This is going to be interesting. We have hopes and fears. Hope is that justice will be served. Final outcome, 6 of Swords. She's got to save her own skin at this point. Politically, she's not super popular, I believe. I think there were a few attempts on her. So, she's got to save her own skin here. She's got to stand up in her own place. Oh, sorry, just cracking my back. And it does crack now. It's great. I just like lean back and so she really does have to do something because this was a very bad look. So what went on behind the scenes on this one? Let's see what went on behind the scenes on this one. Again, we're talking about the vice president of Colombia. Happy squirrel. Hierophant trying to make the powers that be happy about the loss of money, about the expenditure of money. She tried to spin this like, oh, it was good publicity, but she's got to go fetch that money back. Just go grab that bag, girl. Yeah, figure out where you're going to replenish our coffers because this was a bad idea. You lost us some money here, gal. Yikes. So I think the VP of Colombia, I'm going to keep saying it, Colombia. I think she's in a bit of trouble. I think it's a bit of trouble. So let's just pause for one. Okay, so next question is from my girl Marnie. Marnie changes everything. I love that song. Cyndi Lauper. I'm showing my age. Is money changes everything, but Marnie changes everything too. So, question. Apparently, allegedly, the Obamas are getting the boot from Netflix along with the photos for similar reasons. Speed of delivery and quality of content. I am wondering what they're feeling these days. Great question. Love that. So let's see what's going on with O's. O'Reilly. Auto parts. For those of you out of the country, that is a commercial for an auto parts. I had 103.5 fever the other day. My brain cells are a little fried. So how are the Obamas feeling? Well, first of all, are they getting the boot from Netflix? Let's see. 5 of Cups. This is possible. We're going to put that up there. Let's see what the storyline is, like what they're saying. Page of Swords. We're not really getting much from you. Do you think we're going to get something in the future? Should we stick around and wait for you guys to restart? Nope, I got this. I'm going to come up with something. Michelle and I will produce something. We'll send it over as soon as we can. You have my word. I sound like Bernie Sanders, Pizza Mama. Just be patient. So I really did sound like Bernie Sanders. So I think that they're going to negotiate a bit more. What's Netflix's response going to be to this? We would love to work with you too. We understand times are tough, but we got to get something out there. We need that Knight of Swords doing what he's doing. And, we're just not seeing the kind of work there. But ultimately, we know you're good for it. We know you're good for it. So I don't know if they're going to get the boot. I think the Obamas, I think this is negotiation. I think maybe the brouhaha about the faux rose losing their contract is a what are we trying to say? Like a warning shot. It's a warning shot across somebody else's bow. So let's see how the Obamas are feeling about any kind of warning shots across somebody else's bow. Oh, they're perfectly at ease. They could take it or leave it. They don't need this deal. They don't need it. This is, I don't want to say it's a vanity project for them, but it's just like a project for them to do. It's really not something they need. They don't need Netflix to produce something. They can produce something on their own. Also, when they speak, people listen. So if they get interviewed, people are listening. If they write an article, people are reading it. There's the draw is there. So does Netflix want to get that draw? I mean, it almost feels like Netflix would benefit from negotiating further with them, rather than saying, oh, well, we're not going to do this. Like, this is a juicy plum that is going to yield juice. Oh my God, the analogies I have since having that fever. The Obamas they're going to get butts in the seats. They're going to get asses in the seats. They feel very, very confident that nobody's going anywhere. They don't need the money. Netflix needs them more than they need them. Then they need Netflix, if that makes sense. So, what is Netflix feeling? Let's see what Netflix is feeling. It's about the Obamas, not about the faux rose. The Obamas. Obamas, they were so busy this week at the DNC. So Netflix, yes, is a little disappointed that they haven't gotten anything, but World Card in reverse, they don't want to end it. Baby, please don't go. Star, they don't know if they're going to get anything in the future. Death card in reverse in the past. Six of Swords, they'd like to move on. Ultimately, are they going to? Nine of Cups. I don't think they want to ask for the money back. I don't think they want to say, yeah, it's us, not you. Like, I just don't think they want to have that conversation. How do they see themselves? They see themselves as kind of put out, like they don't have a balanced book, but they see the Obamas as a good draw. This is a tough call. The outcome, they're afraid to lose them to somebody else and have somebody else benefit from it. Ultimate outcome, Five of Swords. They're going to negotiate this. This is going to be negotiated. They're not going to get rid of the Obamas. I just don't think it's too big a draw. Too big a draw. So I think that the question, I'm wondering how they're feeling. I think they are feeling very, very well placed. I don't think that they're concerned about splitting. They could give it or take it. Okay, will H&M ever be held accountable for everything they've done and continue to do, like prison or be locked up in the loony bin? All right, so this is when we talk about tarot, and I stress this to all my students, I stress it to my clients. We always want to talk about tarot in the sense of we're working with the energies that are in place right now. So this is the energy that's in place right now. Is the machinery in place that they are going to have to answer for all the folly of their ways? I can't put it any other way. The folly of their ways. Will they have to do that at some point? So let's see what we get with the cards on that one. So good question, though. Good question. Empress, Magician, Wheel of Fortune's turning backward, Two of Cups, they will separate, and then it'll be done. So under the surface, it's not until so really can't answer this question just yet. So here's our Empress and our Magician, the two who thought they could do everything. The world went in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune spun backward for them. They split up. They're done, 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 done. Up here, all their dreams are shattered. Shattered dreams, shattered dreams. Seven of Swords down here. It's when all of the, so they're together and preserving all of the shadiness that they've done. All the shady stories are preserved as long as they're together. Once they break up, and word on the street is that old Megzy went and saw a divorce attorney, not for the first time. It was one of, I think, NT Lawyers Blind Items. So it's not until they break up that all of the ish comes out. I think it's really at that point that like a lot of stories are going to be spun and told and discharged. I'm going to call it discharged. The stories are going to be discharged. Let me grab a sip of tea. Gosh, how is it 9:30 already? And I'm drinking tea at 9:30 like a lunatic. So I'm all screwed up. I was up like all night on Friday night with that crazy fever. So it was a wild ride. It was like Mr. Toad's wild ride. So will they be held accountable? In the public opinion, yes, because we're going to hear all the stories. Are they going to serve prison terms? King of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. So this is mainly Harry. So Harry is going to be very upset about not having any money, not having any bride, and being hoodwinked. Is that a prison? Yeah. Yeah, of sorts. What about her? What's going to happen with her? Hierophant, transformation, Five of Swords. She's always going to be telling the story about how hard done by she was. That's her prison. Her prison. And again, right now, we're talking about the energies right now. She's going to be locked in a prison of negativity, which I cannot imagine a worse place to be, where you're just reliving the same story over and over again, where like you're just miserable. And and even when you're at home and you're happy, like you have to put on the miserable face because that's the character that you've adopted, like that's what you are now. You're just like the bickerers. Like we used to call them that when I was in my 20s. We had friends that would always fight, like no matter where we went, they would show up and be like, oh great, the bickerers are here. I'm sure you guys know the bickerers. Super annoying, but like that's pretty much what she's going to be. So is Harry's mental health going to suffer as a result of this? Yeah, he's going to be miserable. It's not going to be a good existence because he's going to be broke. Everybody's going to know that he was hoodwinked, and she's going to have to be, poor little ex-princess for the rest of her life. How annoying. Ex-duchess, whatever. So are M and H aware that their titles are in danger? Well, let's see. This is Sue. I gotcha. Is Meghan aware that her title is in danger? So is she aware of them wanting to take the title away? Yes. Does she think that they can? No. So and I had a conversation with one of my followers about this. They can't sue the crown, but I think knowing attorneys here in the United States and knowing attorneys in Los Angeles, and Hollywood, they're going to try to do something. And is it preserving the titles for the children because they are part of the bloodline. They're gonna have to go and like prove all this stuff. There's gonna be DNA tests and whatnot. I think it's gonna be much simpler than that. I think she's not gonna care. You know, if I lose the title, I'll be sad about it for a minute, but does she really need the title anymore? Like, I know a lot of people contract them because of the titles, but we're so hyper aware of them that does she really need a title anymore? She is Meghan the Markled. It's she's basically Markled herself. It's really the inability to be happy, the inability to have grace and be grateful. Grace. Greg loves it when I say Grace. Grace, she died 30 years ago. Name that movie. Put it in the comments. So it's really, and this whole thing that she said in Colombia where she's I'm going into my decade of joy or whatever she's talking about. Joyousness, happiness. So, that's delusion. That's like not reading the room times 10. It's you're going to go into into this happy bubble. Okay. Um Again, the only way the titles really matter is if they are being filtered money via the titles, which we know they're not getting. So I still think that King Charles is fronting some money to them. I think he gives Harry an allowance that's outside of the Duchy of Cornwall or outside of the royal funds. I think Harry has an allowance. I don't think it's a big allowance. I think it's a little piddling allowance, but to us it might be a decent allowance. Like maybe it's $10,000 a week. I don't know. I would like $10,000 a week. That'd be great. I'd like $1,000 a week. That'd be fantastic. Extra cash would be great. But in the scope of their lifestyle, that's really not. It's a drop in the bucket. The millions is what it costs to live in LA. Millions and millions of dollars. So, does she know that the titles are being threatened? Yeah. Does she care? I don't think she really cares. I don't think she cares. Because if she did not have the leash of the title, she could make, Meghan's royal jelly or whatever, She could do that. Majestic jelly. Majestic clothesline. Majestic jewelry. She can do whatever she wants. Does Harry know that his titles are in danger? No. He does not think that anything is ever going to happen to him because he's the Earl of this, the Duke of that, the Dumbarton of something else. He does not, he's delusional. He does not understand, and he does not look backward. He does not understand that that's a reality, that they potentially could excommunicate him from the family. He would be basically exiled from his family. He does not understand that. Very, very unfortunate that he doesn't get that. It's he is just quite the mess. So let me move on and find another fun question. So this is a neat one. And I tend not to publicly read. I'm going to bring myself up here. I don't publicly read for any of the other YouTubers that I'm friends with, like, if they're having an issue with something. I have read for some YouTubers privately, one-on-one. I've emailed out recordings of videos as well. So, Griffin Scope, if you guys are not familiar with her, she reads with the Crow Tarot, and she has a little crow call, and she's got a crow feather. She had there was some more than one family loss, I think, and she's had a bit to deal with. And she read a lot on Harry and Meghan. I was very fond of her. So, I remain subscribed because when she comes back, I would like to see more of her videos. Very sweet lady. Lovely voice, not like my Jersey. Bleh. Following oh gosh, I can't remember the other one. The South African lady who's got the beautiful accent. You guys know who I'm talking about. She's so sweet. I think she's a screenwriter too. But there's so many other tarot readers out there, and I have this crazy Jersey accent. I'm just like, oh God, it's so grating. I know my ex, who was Scottish, would say that he found Southern accents and my accent specifically really annoying. I was like, well, that's great. Oh, not a good sign. But so let's see. Is the Griffin scope? Are we going to see her back soon? Let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. I don't know her real name. I don't know anything about her. Personally, that is. So we see Griff come back. Four of Swords in reverse. That's a good sign. That means that healing and recovery the time is over. And there's the Hangman. She's still taking some time for herself. Yeah, just so this is a good sign that she's not under stress. We're really just kind of surrendered to everything that's going on. Seven of Pentacles, that's that negotiation and bargaining that we do after we lose people. She's not quite ready to come back yet. So still taking some time. We're going to have to wait. Ace of Pentacles in reverse is like a maybe winter kind of card. Maybe we'll see her back in the winter. Maybe. It's it is school time, like getting kids back to school and all that jazz. But according to this, she's in a good place, not in a terrible place, just in a good place. Still, she's still working on some things. Emotions are still, and that's one of the things, like she's being very generous with herself, which is good. But when you're a reader, and I'll pull myself up here. When you're a reader, if you're sick or if you are emotionally disorganized at the moment, you have a fight with somebody, it's not the best time to read. And it's just like any kind of physical activity. Like if you did a race or you went to lift weights or something, you're not 100% in it. And sorry, this requires a clarity of your physical mind and to get to the clarity of your ethereal mind. So you really need to be in a good spot before you start tinkering around and trying to divine answers. I obviously did not do any readings while I was sick, and I kept taking myself off the schedule, off my own private reading schedule, because I was just like, I thought maybe today I could do private readings, but I was like, I can't possibly do it. I could do readings for the channel, but readings for other people, I want to give them, I'm reading at like 95% right now. So I want to give them 100% for my clients. So I do hope that the Griffin Scope comes back sooner than later. I would love to see her back on here. I fully support a lot of tarot readers on here. I like a lot of tarot readers. I love Tarot by Andy. I love the South African lady. Why can't I remember what her show is? And of course, Alicia Wicker, my bestest buddy out there. I love her. New channels, Tarot on Pause, my girlfriend Debbie's channel, and Tarot Destiny. Of course, she's always in the chats. I definitely support it. Tarot Destiny just put up a longer video the other day, and I have not gotten through the whole thing. So I do have to focus on giving back to the people that have supported me. There's a few people on my list, so I'm going to make sure that I do that this week now that I'm on the mend. So let's get back to some cards. So let's see what else we have. So another YouTuber is from Elizabeth Higgins. Hello, Elizabeth, my dear friend. Said that Meghan Markle's mother may be running a scam business. When approached over the phone, she drops the royal family name and Meghan Markle getting in favor with her future clients only to work cash in hand, helping retired and disabled people in need of help, etc. So does she okay, so let's see if Doria has this business. Does she have a business like this? Two of Swords. She's involved in it. So what's going on? Do we have other people running it with her? Six of Swords. High Priestess. 10 of Swords. So this is, in my opinion, a business that she's trying to put together. Doria is not a great business mind, psychically speaking. That she does want to help people. So like, I think she was a social worker. She was a yoga instructor and I believe a social worker. She does want to help people. That's her training and that's what she thinks she wants to do. Is she really good at putting businesses together with an altruistic backbone? No, not really. The reason being is when you do something business wise that, oh, I'm sorry, guys, I put the wrong view on. When you do something business wise that's altruistic, you really need to have someone who is not altruistic handling the books on it, because if your nature is to be generous and giving and charitable, you're going to wind up giving away a lot of stuff. So you need to have somebody to be the dad in the equation, the good cop, bad cop, good banker, bad banker. So, does she have a business like this? I think she's trying to get it going, but it's not taking off. And it's just not a viable fiscal model. It just won't work. So it's not going to fly. So does she have a business like this? Yeah, she's trying to do it, but it ain't happening. It ain't happening. So, all right. Now we've got another one here from Elizabeth Higgins. Julia Roberts and her husband, Danny Motor, not working out. Elizabeth Higgins, I am giving you a shout out. Savage Garden. He is from down under. Gonna go check my smoke detectors. Greg and I watched What We Do in the Shadows, and it's their the movie. They're vampires that are flatting together in New Zealand, and the police have to come at one point, and they like perform a glamour so the police don't see some of them, and they're checking the smoke detectors. So every time we say smoke, we can't say smoke detector like in American anymore. We say smoke detectors. So Danny Mulder. I always thought he was not a on par spouse for her. I think he's like a DP or something like that. Camera guy, cinematographer. Never thought he was on par with her. All right, so what's going on with this relationship? We're gonna do a little Celtic cross. No muss, no fuss. Star in reverse, not looking like a good future. The moon crossed by lunacy. That when we get the moon, we get lunacy. Two of Pentacles upside down. We're going in two different directions. I think you're right, darling. Hierophant's behind them. Up top, Eight of Cups. Not quite yet. They're not walking just yet. Sun in the future, but what is that sun? How they see each other. They're not learning from their mistakes. So if they're in therapy, it's not working. Chariot, others see them moving apart. 9 of Cups. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. They couldn't build this together, couldn't build the ship to last. So that is really unfortunate. Wasn't Julia Roberts the one who ran off on the eve of her wedding to Kiefer Sutherland? Wasn't she going to marry Kiefer Sutherland? And she ran off with Jason Patrick. Like, I don't know. Way to wreck the Lost Boys. Jason Patrick, I thought he was super hot. I liked his hair. But I thought Kiefer Sutherland was hot too. So, child of the 80s. A victim of the times. But yeah, this looks like it's not great over there. Oh, that's unfortunate. Unfortunate for them. What can they do to fix it? Can they do anything to fix it? King of Wands, they don't want to fix it. They're happier apart. So that's okay. That's totally fine. His lifestyle is going to get a little weird. It's going to not be as grand as it was, but I think he's totally fine with that. He's going to have like the dad apartment, like the 3-bedroom dad apartment. Oh well, they're happier apart. So let's see. What do we have next? So persnickety shouting out Biebs Kelly. I love Biebs Kelly. If you guys don't love Biebs Kelly, I don't know what to tell you. She's a hoot. And just for the record, so persnickety says Biebs Kelly uploaded a video that spilled the tea on the reason behind the Colombia trip and the Jane Pauley interview. Very interesting. And she said, not trying to promote other channels, but it's helpful behind the scenes. I think it was vetted. I don't care about people promoting other channels. I have no problem with that. There's in the words of Trevor Cole, there's a lot of room on the internet for all of us. It's this is a digital town square, and it's the town square for the world. And you get to watch these long form videos, which is great because you get to hear a lot more than 100 characters or whatever it is on Twitter. I have no problem with it. If you have a good channel, shout it out to me. I've turned 1 million people on to the Y-Files, which I've been really remiss in watching. Alicia Wicker promoted me. I promote Rick Paul. The Hutches, the Fitness Hutch, Mel and Paul, they promote a lot of people. I have no problem. If you want to shout out another channel on here, it's totally fine. There's only like 1 or 2 that like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not real keen on them. There's a very, very small handful. I think content is content. And if it's interesting, I'll jump on it. If it's not interesting, I'm not going to watch it. So, Biebs Kelly, she's one of my favorites. She is one of my favorites. I actually emailed her with a request for a video. I can't even remember what it was, but I was like, could you do a video on? I was like, little dork. But I have my dorky moments. So the idea behind this Colombia trip was that Meghan and Harry had applied to do some project, and they wanted to be on this panel for supporting kids or some kind of, good mental health for kids kind of thing. And there was a criteria for them to meet. And so the Jane Pauley interview was part of that. That's why it was rushed. And the website was rushed out, and that was part of it. So let's see. Was that really what was going on there? I can't believe we're still talking about this trip. Did they do the Colombia trip and the Jane Pauley thing to meet the criteria for this thing? 4 of Pentacles. They showed their hand. 2 of Wands. They were never going to get it anyway. No, you're never going to get it because they didn't do the work. But they thought they were doing the work. They were like, "Oh, we'll do the work. We'll do this, and then people will like us." Feel like Mr. Burns, I bring you love. That was when he was having the anti-aging treatments. He was all glowing in his bathrobe or in a hospital gown in the middle of the woods. Yeah. So yes, the Colombia trip was part of the criteria for this. They were really trying to do the work, but they just couldn't manage it. They're like a big bag of wind. I was very surprised that Harry did fake it as best he could. Um, that poor guy. We've all had a relationship where we did that. I was dating a guy. This was so awful. I had to go to a wedding. I can't even remember whose wedding it was, but I had to go to a wedding. And I know who it was my aunt's wedding. It was my aunt's second wedding. And the guy that I was going with, I was breaking up with. And he was just very annoying. And it was not a good scene. He was a ginger. He was a ginger. And we went to the wedding, and I had my plus one, and after the wedding, my other aunt and her husband were driving us home, and there was this funky little jazz club in the town that we lived in called Jason's Jazz and Blues Club, and the owner was a guy named Mel Hood, and Mel was good friends with BB King, and BB King would play there after he played the big show at the Art Center here. And so we pulled up to convenience store, and Jason's Jazz and Blues Club was right next door, and my uncle was trying to talk us into going, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to go. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And he kept going and like would not stop. And I finally was just like, I'm breaking up with this guy in about 10 minutes. Can I just go home and do it? So it's pretty much how I broke up with this guy. It's not very nice, but I had some drinks with me, and he was really annoying. He was just not the right guy for me. So, I try and I was going to do it nicely, but I was forced into doing it meanly. But anyway, so I don't think less of me. So, can I read on the King Charles involvement with Harry's USA visa? Supposedly an A1 visa that opens up many ramifications. So if it's an A1 visa, then the United States government is paying for security, or some of the security. We're contributing because that's our obligation for persons of political interest. So let's see if it's an A1 visa. Let's see what's going on with that. And this may be our last question. So it's an A1 visa, guys. Boom, right there, right there. Da, 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 da. There's your answer. What crosses it? The Ace of Pentacles. There's some stipulations on this. That's interesting. That he is not meeting. Page of Wands. He's not doing what he needs to do. Three of Pentacles. It was the crown and the two governments coming together to get him here. Justice in reverse. We're going to have some Knight of Pentacles. He's going to be a man about town without a country. We're going to not have him here. He's going to lose this. Tower card. He muffed up to be a 7th grader in Old Ridge, New Jersey. He muffed up. That's where I was in 7th grade. Temperance card. They're going to give him some time to sort out his affairs, but this is something they're letting him know. Maybe why we're hearing that. We heard that they may lose their Spotify deal, and we also heard they're warming up to the idea of going back to England. They're warming up to the idea of it, and Harry really misses it. He really misses it. So that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get the sob story that America was not what I thought it was going to be. It was just it's like it's a paradise, but it's like being on vacation. It's not really like living. We're not thriving. So I do think that it's an A1 visa, and I do think that there's some things that are missing, and they're gonna have to send him on his way. So, all right, let me see the ramifications of it. Ramifications. Everybody, there were a lot of people Where's the proof? Would have to be okay. Doubt the king. You know what? I do think someone else said I doubt the king had anything to do with H's visa. He would have to do something about that. He would have to. Mm, mm, mm. So Stephen Magnus, my favorite lurker. So it's not really a question. Harry refused to go to the funeral of his uncle and the Spencer family, instead going for this Colombian holiday. How's that going to play out? How is that going to play out with the Spencers? He was like kind of cozying up to the Spencers, wasn't he? Oh, they're not happy about it. They're not happy about him not showing. He's on the outside. He's looking in. That was the worst version of that song by the band Stained. Now now the Spencers are starting to question what he's doing, and they're going to move themselves away from him. He's on his own. They're not going to do him any favors. And that was interesting because a few weeks ago I was asking the Oracle if they were going to be like a good place for him to land. Lovers, no. In reverse. Wheel of Fortune, it's going to bite you in the ass. Two of Cups. And the Queen of Swords. Not stealing that from Alicia Wicker because she does that all the time. Yeah, he's cut off. They are cutting him off now. How many bridges are you gonna burn, Harry? How many bridges? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ah, what a mess. He's literally gonna wind up on the street someplace. He's gonna be just by himself. It's unbelievable. Let me see if we have any other questions here. Oh, it was a month ago. So this is actually a Humanaki. Humanaki, I owe you so many readings. I am so sorry. The SS director, who made her sign? Was she covering for Mayorkas? And how is she feeling today? Let's see how that SS director is feeling. I can't even remember her name. It was so long ago. Oh, she is not happy. Wheel of Fortune. She did get stuck by the Wheel of Fortune. Two of Cups. Nine of Swords. She was anxious in the past. Five of Cups. She's disappointed how this all turned out. 10 of Cups. She is well protected, though. She is sitting pretty. How is she well protected? Two of Pentacles. They gave her, she had to fall on the sword. She had to fall on the sword for the ringleader that made this happen. Who made it happen? I don't know. We're going to hold that there. We're going to hold that there. Because the next reading is a Nancy Pelosi. Let's talk about Nancy Pelosi. How does she really feel about DT turning his head? How does she feel about him turning his head? You guys, if you follow my channel, you know that I really feel like he was supposed to be done for that day. And he changed the timeline. Just do it. So she is changing tactics. She did reach out with some effect of sympathy. She did reach out, but the message didn't get through. And it confirmed how she already feels. So, Page of Swords, this is, sometimes the one who steps forward and executes this situation, executes like the messaging, the plan. Sometimes that's what happens. And and they're happy about that, but then things go wrong and they go in a different direction, and then you have to say, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Let me make sure it never happens again. Let me help you out there. So that 7 of Wands is, teeter-totter. We're on a teeter-totter. You can see this guy. He's teeter-tottering back and forth on a less than solid foundation. So just going to make the future miserable for him, though. That is kind of the plan. Make the future miserable. Make misery again. I don't know if it was a mafama. I don't even know how you say that. So there's much more to Humanaki's question, but I am getting wiped out from my colds, my flu, cold and flu medicine that I took. I'm getting wiped out from it. You guys are seeing me slow down. So I'm going to get some more questions. Maybe I'll do a mixtape Wednesday as well. And until then, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tolerating my gravelly voice. And I will see you in the next one.